Imagine the first day of a new organization. Everyone is aligned. The mission statement is freshly printed, the values are clear, and the environment feels optimized for success. 1 year later, the group has changed. The official rulebook is identical to day one, but the culture feels toxic. Formal rules exist on paper, while hidden realities govern the actual behavior. This decay is driven by a force called local rule drift. It is the quiet, invisible divergence between what an institution claims to be and how it actually functions in practice. Institutional rot begins in the subtle shifts of everyday interactions. It starts with micro-exchanges that go unnoticed, rather than a single dramatic failure at the top. Every group runs on two competing operating systems simultaneously. First, you have the declared rules, the noble, written laws posted on the wall that tell us to speak your truth or be vulnerable. Underneath lie the enacted rules. This hidden reward system dictates what actually happens. If a group claims to value vulnerability, but people suppress any show of emotion, they are rewarding silence. The enacted rule is that feelings are a problem to be managed. When these daily behaviors repeatedly contradict the stated mission, trust dies. The official handbook is reduced to a meaningless script that everyone is forced to perform. Psychologists call this a prediction error. It is the moment when reality shatters our model of how a social interaction is supposed to unfold. This internal error manifests as friction. It is a loud, vital signal that the group's enacted rules are surfacing, showing you how things truly work. This friction appears in layers. First, the somatic response, a physical flinch or dropped gaze. Then the interactional response, a nervous joke or topic change the moment things get real. Eventually, friction becomes systemic. You see environments where individual autonomy is entirely outsourced, like a circle where one person must mediate every single conflict. To understand a group's health, a leader must stop trying to fix awkward moments. Instead, they must learn to read friction to find the real rules governing the room. Facilitators use a 4-step friction log to track signals. Catch the flinch, locate the failed expectation, infer the hidden rule, and choose how to respond. You can mark or name the pattern, but simply holding the space proves friction isn't a threat. Mastering this process allows a leader to realign a toxic environment by addressing reality rather than enforcing a rigid rulebook. Now you have a logical framework to identify dysfunction. You can walk into any group and map out exactly where the rules are drifting. But there is a trap. The moment you turn this log into a mandatory procedure for others, you have created a new, rigid, declared rule. Turning a diagnostic tool into a dogma restarts the cycle of decay. It replaces genuine observation with a new layer of mandatory performance. True leadership fails when it prioritizes the rigid procedure of safety over the actual, unpredictable human beings in the room. Ancient Taoism and modern science agree. The map is never the territory. We rarely touch base reality because we are constantly checking our perceptions against our internal models. In a healthy group, the rules eventually become invisible. The members embody them so naturally that the procedure is no longer mentioned. A leader must learn the framework perfectly and then discard it before the group begins to worship the procedure. This system only stays effective if it is willing to vanish. All that remains is real, unscripted human interaction.